Hello everyone, I'm Pete O'Farrell.
And I'm Jessica Kurgo. This is your March installment of Walpole News Today. Disobedient dog owners have the Adams Farm Committee at their wits' end. On March 28th, the Select Board approved the committee's request to ban dogs entirely from Adams Farm if owners continue to disregard the town's leash law. According to Committee Chair Jack Wiley, the request was made in response to ongoing complaints of unleashed dogs on the property, and even noted a loss in funding due to the ongoing issue. Board member Barrett said he hopes the endorsement of a ban can serve as a form of peer enforcement among visitors. The board plans to evaluate whether or not to follow through with the ban in roughly 6 months.
I've heard of a couple of dog bites. We have not had a lot. I don't think the police department has had any reporting for dog bites, but I have heard of a couple. And I think there are probably some others. But that is a potential problem. We've had people knocked down by jumping dogs, and we've had issues where someone is walking their dog, small dog, and a loose big dog comes up, and the big dog may be aggressive, may just want to be friendly, but it's become an issue. We know that there are people who will not visit the farm because of off-leash dogs. We have had some send us to the Friends of Adams Farm who support a lot of the, financially support a lot that goes on in Adams Farm, that they are withdrawing their support because of off-leash dogs. The Monarch Field, which is a field behind the barn, is a designated Monarch way station. I don't know if you're familiar with the Monarch butterflies, but they go from here to Mexico and back. The way that they lay their eggs on milkweed, the eggs hatch into a worm, the worm goes, makes a chrysalis, and at those stages, they're very susceptible to any activity.
This is going to happen. The Select Board has approved it. You really have to get your ducks in a row here, people. You have to start being considerate of others. We need to have everybody come together, and then you might get some other people who walk at Adams Farm to help out in the policing or the enforcement, right? Reminding others, hey, we're not even going to be able to do this if you don't leash your dog. I like that idea.
The Select Board has approved the request from the Adams Farm Committee to ban dogs at Adams Farm. Prior to setting a date for this action, the committee is asking once again for all dog walkers to obey the town bylaw, keep your dog on leash at all times, pick up and properly dispose of your dog's waste. Violators of this ban will be subject to fines for having a dog on town-posted property.
Everyone is safe after a single-family home caught fire in Walpole on Tuesday, March 21st. In video shot exclusively by Walpole Media, Walpole firefighters arrived along with off-duty first responders and members of the Norwood Fire Department. Walpole Media spoke with Deputy Fire Chief Paul Barry at the scene of the event.
A single-family house fire that went to a working fire assignment. We brought in off-duty crews as well as NOAA to the scene for assistance and the Westwood engine to the station for coverage. On initial arrival, first arriving crews did an excellent job, aggressive attack inside, knocked down heavy fire. Prior to our arrival, we had an off-duty firefighter from out of town and a state trooper on scene. They made an initial primary search of the building, found 2 dogs inside, brought the dogs out and secured the dogs for the homeowners. On our arrival, again, we found fire, heavy smoke conditions, still determining the cause. Excellent job by the on-duty crews and the recall companies for their assistance.
The Walpole Police Department has concluded a months-long search for a new mental health clinician. Dylan Jones, a licensed clinical social worker who joined the department at the end of January, addressed the Select Board at a March 14th meeting. According to Chief Kelleher, the police department received 76 emergency calls for mental health-related services and responded to 6 non-fatal overdoses in the first quarter of 2023. The Select Board plans to meet with Jones again in 3 months for an update on the police department's new mental health program.
I'm Dylan Jones. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I've been practicing for about 18 years, mostly in and around Boston, so this is different. I've done everything from like case management to in-home therapy to outpatient therapy, Like the chief was saying, I've worked with a lot of different populations, a lot of needs, everything from like DMH involved adults to DCF involved kids and families, adults with trauma, substance abuse, kind of a whole gamut. I am an employee of Riverside Community Care, so I'm sort of an extension of their mobile crisis team, so I'll be doing some of that work, mental health evaluations like they do, but also, providing support to the department and doing some follow-ups and just trying to be a resource to the community and to the police department.
The Board of Sewer and Water Commissioners held a public hearing on March 13th to discuss a possible sewer extension through several neighborhoods in North Walpole. The extension is an opportunity for interested residents to ditch their septic systems and connect to the town's sewer system. Commissioners outlined the context for what they say will be a sizable and costly project and explained that at least 2/3 of the residents within the area would have to be in favor of the extension in order for it to pass. The Commission plans to continue conversations with impacted residents in order to gauge the level of interest. Here's more from the public hearing.
It's something we do as part of our plan and really the protocol. If someone inquires about it and says they're interested in sewer, we feel it's our job to respond to that request and make an inquiry and investigate with the residents and the neighbors what the level of interest is. There's an argument that if contaminants are being put in septic systems and they contaminate the groundwater in the town, that it may have some future effect on the water supply and on the quality of water. And there's also an argument that if we put too much water in the sewer system, we're dewatering the basin of the town, which isn't good either.
We identified the areas up in North Walpole that did not have sewer, and we asked our sewer consultant to give us a rough estimate of what it would cost and how to do that. Here's the properties. All totaled is 155 residences that would be impacted if we did the entire process there.
If you do get sewer, the town is going to pay, I'm on sewer, I'm going to pay more on my sewer bill because we're going to pay 25% of your attachment. So what I think, what you folks need to think about is if your septic system is good and you know your own septic system and it's going to be around for a long, long time, you might consider not having a sewer.
Every house, whether they connected to sewer or not, because the sewer goes by your house, you're in effect have been bettered, and you'd be responsible for that betterment cost.
If one person gets 20 votes, if they own 20 lots.
Oh, yes.
So one developer owns that property. And he's gonna get to vote 20 times, or she.
That would be true, yes.
The Conservation Commission held a public hearing for a proposal to construct a 14 by 40 pull-off area on North Street connecting to a pathway to Willett Pond. The land was purchased by the Conservation Commission from the New England Forest Foundation about a year ago, and the town has already approved capital budget funding for the project. Several members of the public spoke in opposition to the proposal, and the Commission ultimately decided to continue the hearing to April 12th. The Planning Board will hold a public hearing for the scenic road on April 20th.
We do not intend to be within the 25-foot buffer zone to do any of the work. We plan on doing all gravel to not affect the runoff of the area now. The area as it shows now, it looks like we would have to fill in about 5 feet of soil to match existing grade of the road to make the pull-off area level with the road.
This filing was particularly for the pull-off so that somebody could come by and pull off of North Street and unload a small boat, kayak, non-motorized boat. And since we cannot allow parking, drive their car up to Adams Farm and park at Adams Farm. And then you're able to walk down from Adams Farm, but we would have a more delineated path so people could walk down from Adams Farm and then access this property.
Why would we do this given there's ample nearby parking at Adams Farm? The proposed pullout is on this busy, narrow, dangerous street where currently the cars are protected from stopping by a stone wall. There's a vastly more accessible lake public access for small boat and kayak launching 2 minutes away, where people don't have to walk a quarter or half mile down to the lake from the proposed pullout.
Katie's exactly right. There is a superior pullout 20 feet from the water's edge at the street, which the public has an easement to, regardless of who owns it. And there's better parking across the street there on Pettit's Pond Way. And so when you actually stack it up, I'm not sure that this scar on a beautiful piece of land is going to have much return on investment for the town and the people of Walpole.
What we have to do is we have to make sure that the path to the pond is stable and safe to walk on to get down to the pond. So that's what this is about.
The Walpole Seed Library Exchange Box is back for another year. Starting up again on March 1st, the box provides residents with an opportunity to take and leave packaged seeds for growing fruits, vegetables, and other produce. The Seed Library, which is sponsored by the Friends of Adams Farm in collaboration with the Walpole Public Library, has been a seasonal tradition for nearly a decade. Last month, Susan Pakenham, who started the Seed Library, and Liz McAfee, who helps stock the seeds, gave their take on why the project is so important to Walpole's community.
I approached Adams Farm because that was a natural organization that could work with, this idea, and they backed me. I needed backing for just a little bit of funding, and the advertising. They in turn were very enthusiastic. A music teacher in town donated an old card catalog. A high school student at the high school at that point painted it for us to make it appropriate looking. And I went and tried to get the word out that I'm looking for seeds. I approached people, things were in the local newspapers, and I approached seed companies. And I was well received by everybody and got some. And has now grown to what it is now, a couple thousand packets every year, which I couldn't tell you how many seeds, but it has to be well in the 5 figures. And I sell out every year I've done it.
It offers a chance for people to get seeds free of charge that they can use to sustain their own families or just lend beauty to their yards. It helps keep people in touch with the earth and doing things to recreate food for themselves. So it has a lot of benefits, and it's fun just to have a variety of things you may not get in touch with otherwise. So it offers a lot of opportunity for people. Just being involved with the dirt and getting down in the dirt and working with it and trying. Some days I'm in the garden, and other gardeners have said this too, I'm in the garden and the bees are all around, and they don't care that I'm there. They're going about their business, and I can work, I can be weeding or whatever, and they're there, and it's a wonder to me that you can do that in a garden without, you're part of things, and it's the natural world, and it feels good.
To save a seed, you're paving it forward instead of just throwing out your seed. So there's more to grow for the next year of the same thing that you enjoyed this year, the same variety. More money can be made from certain varieties than others that have a shorter shelf life, can't be transported because they get bruised too easily. Anybody can become a gardener. There are so many resources online. You can just Google it and you can read a couple of the same things and you'll figure it out. It's not hard.
The Walpole Trails Committee is working to build a bench to memorialize the late Paul Lazzaro. The idea stems from an ongoing initiative to enhance Walpole's trails with benches constructed from fallen trees. Walpole Media caught up with Rob Belcher, a member of the Trails Committee and longtime friend of Paul Lazzaro, for more.
So I've been chainsaw milling for about 5 years. Bought the saw, bought the mill, and mostly was harvesting wood in our own property. And I'm a member of the Adams Farm Committee, and I got interested in what the Trails Committee was doing, so I recently joined the Trails Committee, and they had some ideas for benches, which the chainsaw milling is perfect for making benches. So this is for Paul Lazzaro, in memory of Paul Lazzaro, who is a longtime friend of mine. I've known him for about 10 years. He owns or owned Route 1 Auto in Plainville, and he'd done a lot of work on cars for me. And very nice guy. I thought a lot of Paul. And his wife's friends contacted the Trails Committee about doing a bench near the walkway headed over to Jarvis Farm in the Walpole Town Forest. So the Trails Committee contacted me about doing a bench, and I had this tree that had to come down. It's a perfect match for the project, and that's where we are. Started with the bare log, and then put a plywood I-beam on top of that log to establish a flat surface. And the chainsaw mill rides on that I-beam to make sure that you have a nice flat surface to work on for the next cuts. So we did 3 cuts today. The first one was the starting cut, which left a piece that was about 5 inches thick, and then we did a 3-inch slab and then a 2 7/8 inch slab. So the piece that I'm sitting on now is going to be the base of the bench, and then the one that we just moved into the truck, that's going to be the back part of the bench, and that will be engraved on a CNC engraver with Paul's information and a message from Paul for those who want to rest and look at the swamp there at Jarvis Farm.
The winter sports season has wrapped up at Walpole High School and summer is getting close.
Let's send it over to downtown Rick Brown for a closer look.
Thank you, Jess and Pete. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all the ships at sea. My name is Rick Brown, your voice of Walpole High Sports, with a roundup of winter sports activities here at Walpole High School. Walpole's boys and girls basketball and hockey teams all qualified for their respective MIAA Division II tournaments, and 2 of these teams advanced to the state semifinals, Final Four in their respective tournaments. Walpole Media Corporation and I would like to congratulate and thank all of Walpole's student athletes for your time and effort this past winter. The girls basketball team was eliminated in the semis by eventual state champion Foxborough. The Lady Timberwolves finished the year with a 21-3 record, winning both the Herget Division and the Bay State Conference crowns. Sophomore Rizzy Adams paced Walpole in scoring with 299 points. Tri-captains Brooke Wallonis, Haley Brigham, and Katie Hurley followed with 241, 173, and 156 points respectively. Walpole's seniors, the earlier tri-mentioned captains, along with Chloe Binden, Grace Ryan, and Annie Cantrell, closed out their basketball careers with an overall record of 61 wins and 18 losses, an outstanding 77% winning record. The boys hockey team also advanced to the Division II Final Four before falling to Hopkinton High. The Timberwolves skaters finished the year with a record of 16 wins, 7 losses, and a tie. Tri-captain Jason Finkelstein led the team in scoring with 27 goals and 23 assists for 50 points, including an amazing 6-goal game against Auburn in the tournament. Other top scorers for the T-Wolves included Eddie Jackson, who had 12 goals and 14 assists for 26 points, the same number of points as tri-captain Matt Bianculli, who added 4 goals and 22 helpers. Griffin Curran, the 4th senior in the scoring lead, chipped in with 12 goals and 8 assists for 20 points. The boys basketball team advanced to the Sweet 16 state quarterfinal round, toppling West Springfield 63-44 before being ousted by Westwood in another close game. Tri-captain Sean O'Brien led the team in scoring with 363 points. Trey Corbin, another captain, was runner-up with 269 points, while James Gabba, the 3rd captain, was in 3rd place with 203 points. The 32nd seeded girls hockey team won their preliminary round game against Boston Latin School 1-0 on junior Katie Colleran's goal. The Timberwolves, however, were outshot and ousted in the next round by top-seeded Archbishop Williams. The Lady Timberwolves had just a trio of seniors on the team. Tri-captains Maddie Clark, Sophia Theophilou, and Shannon Morris. But the team also sported 8 freshmen, 4 sophomores, and 3 juniors, so their future looks especially bright. As a result of the regular season successes of WHS teams, several Timberwolf student athletes were chosen for Bay State Conference Herget Division All-Star teams. Seniors Maddie Clark for girls hockey and Jason Finkelstein for boys hockey were also named recipients of the Boston Bruins Sportsmanship Award and were so honored at the Boston Garden before a recent Bruins game. Brooke Malonis, Haley Brigham, and Izzy Adams were named girls basketball Herget All-Stars, while Katie Hurley received honorable mention honors. Izzy was also chosen as the Herget MVP. Jason Finkelstein, Matt Bianculli, and Eddie Jackson were tabbed as All-Stars in boys hockey. Jason was the MVP in the Herget, so obviously Walpole was quite well represented in All-Star teams for their performances over the winter. Sean O'Brien was chosen as the boys basketball Herget MVP and was honored along with All-Stars Trey Corbin and Emmett King, all of whom are seniors. Junior Elena Gavoni, freshman Nora Kelly, and sophomore Ava England were picked as All-Stars for the girls hockey team. In wrestling, sophomore Logan Murphy was named to the first team at 113 pounds. He was first in the sectional meet and finished third in the D2 state meet. Teammate Steve Hutnick was an honorable mention at 285 pounds after finishing fourth in the sectionals. Sean Curran, a junior, was honored as an all-star on the boys track team. Several members of the boys and girls indoor track teams excelled in the MIAA Division III championships. The boys finished in 9th place with 22 points as a team. The girls placed 10th with 17 points in the meet. Well, that just about wraps it up sports-wise. Just a couple of late additions. Congratulations go out to seniors Max Collins and Andrew Falzone for being named to the 45th annual Shriners International Football Classic to be played on June 17th at Bentley College. On a team that's comprised of seniors from all over Massachusetts, Max was named as a wide receiver, while Andrew was chosen as a defensive back. Remember, folks, cheering for your fellow classmates is like having an extra player on the team. So get out to some of these spring season games and cheer loud and strong. This is Rick Brown signing off. I'll see you again next month.
That's all for this month's show. If you like this video, please consider showing your support by giving us a like on YouTube and sharing it with others.
And be sure to subscribe to our channel and follow us on social media so you don't miss future coverage.
For Walpole News Today, I'm Jessica Kergo.
And I'm Pete O'Farrell. We will see you next time.